Howdy. Welcome to episode 3 of A Cup of Coffee with Coach Herbst. This week's episode is all about failure. What can we learn from failure? How can we grow? And how can we move on? Last week's episode wasn't great. We made some mistakes, but we're going to get better. And that's what this episode is all about. So go ahead, pull up a chair, order a latte. Welcome to my cafe. Today, during character development, we're going to talk about how failure is a part of growth. The two quotes we're looking at is, first one is from Winston Churchill. And it's probably one of the more famous quotes that you've heard about failure. And what really sticks out to me is that we're all going to fail. Winston Churchill was in charge of the British forces during World War II, and he suffered lots of failure. The idea is that after you fail, that you have to keep going. You can't let yourself be scared to try again and fail again, because you're going to fail again, but you're also going to be successful. The second quote from John Wooden, who's arguably one of the greatest basketball coaches in all of history, he talks about that if you are not making mistakes, then you're not doing anything. We have so many people in this world that are so afraid to make mistakes and so afraid to fail. They're not trying and they're not growing. They become stagnant in their life. So what kind of mistakes have you made that helped you grow? Think about it. Come back to it later. Today's episode is all about failure. And I don't know when things changed, when people started saying that it's not okay to fail. I mean, you make mistakes, I make mistakes all the time, and that failure helps us grow. The last video I put out there, I wasn't really happy with. I thought it went too long. There was a lot of things that were wrong about it, but I had to put it out there because it was time to put the episode up, because I made a goal for myself and I wanted to achieve it, but it didn't work out that way. But I have learned so much just from that one failure that these are going to be good. Well, hopefully be good from now on. Failing is a part of you. It doesn't define who you are, but you carry that mistake with you and you try not to make it again. Think about the movie Inside Out. I know, another Pixar reference. They're just good at storytelling. Think about in Inside Out when Joy finally accepts that it's okay to be sad. It's okay to have core memories that are made of sadness, because that helps you grow. That helps you develop your personality. It helps you develop your character. Failure is okay. We're all going to fail. As long as you learn from it, that is not a true failure. This week's personal challenge is simply titled, What do you do when you fail? Now, the question, what do you do when you fail, is kind of a loaded question because different failures are going to hit you different ways. Failing to get to work on time and making a decision that causes harm to someone else, you're going to handle that failure quite differently. But my question to ask you is when you actually fail, or you do not achieve a goal of yours, or you do not do something correctly, do you look at it as a learning experience and try to grow, or do you look at it as another failure in your life that further hinders you from taking chances and actually growing? Just think about it. So the personal challenge is going to have two parts. The first part is, what was a time that you failed that led to a major success? Now just think about this. You can write it down. You can talk to somebody about it. You can, just think about it by yourself. But think of a time that you thought that you'll never get out of this. You'll never come back from this. And then it ended up putting you on a path that led you to a great success today. The second part of your personal challenge is to read an article from the Business Insider, which is a great website, and it's called 16 Major Differences Between Successful and Unsuccessful People. It's exactly what it sounds like. A group of authors asked really successful people, what do you think the difference is from you being successful and someone who hasn't? So I want you to read it and pick 3 things that stood out to you. You see that cute little koala reading a book? Whenever you see him, that means we have a reading assignment. He's just so adorable. Doesn't it get you excited about reading? Remember, in our character development, we talked about how failure is a part of growth and how important it is for us to become better people. It's okay to fail. It's actually expected. You're going to fail because you're trying new things and you're trying to put yourself out there. And lastly, what do you do when you fail, and how does it lead you to other successes? And don't forget what our little koala friend's saying. We need to read that article and pick out 3 things that stood out to us. He really needs a name. Let me know in the comments if you have a name for them. Hey everybody, thanks for watching episode 3 of A Cup of Coffee with Coach Herbs. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to share this with your friends and family. I really enjoyed making this video because failure is a part of growth, and growth is what's really important about this YouTube show. And make sure you watch on Tuesday to Conquer Your Personal Challenge videos. Make sure you're conquering your personal challenge. And never forget, work hard, be kind, and life will be awesome.